Good evening and welcome to the school board meeting for District 196. It is Monday, October 11th. We are glad that you are with us. Would you please rise and join us with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome. Board, I'll ask for a motion and a second to approve the agenda as outlined. There are no additions or deletions this evening. So with that, I'll take a motion and a second to approve.
So moved. Second.
A motion by Mike, a second by Craig. All in favor of the agenda as outlined indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. That passes on a 4-0 vote. Sachin Isaacs, Art Colson, and Corey Johnson are not available this evening, so we have just the four of us here this evening, which works out just fine. This evening, our favorite part of the board meetings always is to recognize our students for their awesome accomplishments. Tonight, we have many, many students to come before us, and we are going to recognize our National Merit Scholars, semifinalists, and commended students from each high school. We'll call up Rosemont High School first.
Good evening, Chairperson Magnuson, members of the board, and Superintendent Krieger. My name is Pete Roback, principal at Rosemount High School. I am here this evening on behalf of the faculty and staff at all of our district high schools to honor and celebrate our District 196 National Merit Scholars. I would like to thank you for taking the time to recognize these students and their accomplishments. The National Merit Scholarship Program is an academic competition for recognition and scholarship that started in 1955. High school students enter the National Merit Program by taking the PSAT, which is the preliminary SAT, serving as the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, a test which serves as an initial screening of entrance, measuring critical reading, mathematics, and writing ability. Over 1.5 million students from more than 21,000 high schools across the country took the test last year. National Merit finalists compete for more than 8,700 scholarships, totaling over $40 million awarded by businesses, colleges, universities, and the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. Students are recognized based on their scores on the PSAT, which they take as juniors. The National Merit Scholarship Program is recognizing 49 students from ISD 196 this year, all of them scoring in the top 2.5% of all test takers nationwide, with some scoring in the top 1%. Tonight, each high school principal will have the honor of presenting to you all their respective student scholars being recognized by the National Merit Scholarship Program. Our congratulations go out to all District 196 students and their families being honored here this evening. It is a great academic accomplishment measured by a nationally recognized exam. Please join me in recognizing these students for distinguishing themselves as top national scholars. We are proud of each and every one of you. The following students are recognized as National Merit Scholars from Rosemount High School. When each name is read, I would ask that parents or guardians in attendance stand as well. And then please hold your applause until the last name is read. A little disclaimer, Rosemount High School, like other high schools, is a busy place. We have many students missing tonight primarily because of dance and something called marching band. So we have a lot of students missing tonight. We'll talk about marching band later, though, I believe. So Connell and Hannah, if you could please step forward. I'll first read the names of students that aren't in attendance this evening. Aaron DeWitt, Benjamin Ellis, Mariam Marks, Keegan Messner, Alexander Sell, Hope Wankin, and Drew Wetterlin. And present with us this evening, and their parents standing in the back, we have Connell Hagan, and we have Hannah Swanson. Again, please give them a round of applause. I would now like to introduce from the School of Environmental Studies Assistant Principal Trent Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Roback, Chairperson Magnuson, and Superintendent Krieger. It is an honor and privilege for me to honor our Merit Scholar from the School of Environmental Studies, Sarah Cooper. Next, we have Mr. Mons, Principal of Apple Valley High School.
Congratulations. Thank you for coming.
Good evening, Superintendent Krieger, Chairperson Magnuson, members of the board. My name is Drew Mons. I'm the principal at Apple Valley High School. We have 4 students who are being recognized as National Merit Scholars from Apple Valley High School. One student, we were keeping an eye to see if they'd be able to make it here. One student will not be able to join us here tonight, but I'd like to ask our students to please come up this way here. We know that students, certainly they don't achieve these kind of accolades and these kind of successes alone. Comes with the hard work, certainly on their part, but also that of the support of their teachers and of their families. And we have a number of our families that are joining us here. I'd like to take a moment just to recognize those folks sitting here. If you are one of the members of an Apple Valley High School Commended Scholar, will you please stand here and be recognized? Thank you. Our students are El Hadith Damne, Elise Hatchfield, Sarah McDevitt, and in absence here tonight, we're giving one last look, is John Schwartz. So thank you and congratulations to you folks. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Congratulations. Have a great senior year. Thank you, Drew.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Polly Rykowski. I'm the principal of Egan High School, and it's a thrill to be here, especially in the presence of so much powerful, scholarly, academic brain power standing next to me. These young people have worked so hard to achieve what they've achieved. I want to say, though, before we go any further, that it's not just congratulating them, but also all those who supported them along the way. Family, friends. We know that without your support, care, and love, they would have a hard time achieving at this level. We also want to recognize the fact that pre-K, elementary, middle school, all those teachers are part of this, along with their high school teachers. So we want to give a big shout out to the educators in District 196, or even in other districts where these students may have gone to school for a while, because they're all in this together. I would like the family members who are in attendance for these young people to stand and be recognized.
Yeah.
Thank you for trusting us with your most treasured possessions, your children. We don't take it lightly. We treasure our time with them, and frankly, looking at this group, I can't believe they're already at their senior year. But we're here to recognize them tonight. We do have 2 young people who were unable to be with us, Sarah Ballesteros and Audrey Schwartz. They are 2 of our National Merit Scholars, and here come the rest. I'll have them step forward when their name is read. Magna Bosco, Elliot Busley, Kristen Cullen, Alan Gong, Arlen Hegebarth, Nina Mirfakre, David Naranjo, Julia Showalter, Anna Schuler, Sarah Smith, and Eric Sorensen. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Have a great senior year.
And I would like to welcome Principal Bruce Miller to the
Thank you so much
podium.
for coming tonight. Congratulations.
Good job, well done.
Congratulations. Dr. Rykowski. Good. How are you? Good. Good. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Dr. Rykowski, and Good evening, Chairperson Magnuson, school board members, and Superintendent Krieger. On behalf of the faculty and staff and students and parents of Eastview High School, I want to start off by just congratulating the students from our sister schools, from Rosemount, Apple Valley, Egan, and School of Environmental Studies for the wonderful student achievement that their students have achieved as well. I also want to take a moment to thank you for your supportive leadership, for all that you do support us in our schools that have helped enhance the success of our scholars in all of our buildings. So thank you for that. And again, let's not forget all of our parents and guardians and family and friends that are with us tonight for the daily supportive partnership and momentum for this incredible achievement. I would like to invite our Eastview parents, guardians, families, and friends to please stand and be recognized right now. Thank you for all that you have done to support these wonderful students. And finally tonight, and most importantly, I want to congratulate our brightest and most passionate scholars who have persistently engaged and sustained academic effort towards this achievement, resulting in this very elite National Merit Scholarship recognition. It is my pleasure to introduce our Eastview scholars, and as I introduce you, please step forward, and as we get to the end of the first row, we'll take a quick step back, and the back row will come forward, and we'll get our second row up here too so everybody gets a good look. First, Sohan Adagudi, Amy Brewster, Anthony Brogny, Isaiah Dazell, Regina Daynard, Hunter Dunn, Malaya Galindez, Enzo Izzo. Now if we could just switch up and you guys step back. Maxwell Leach, Andrew Liu, Caitlin McClure, Thomas Nelson, Kim No, Cameron Ojala, Ryan Porter, Sylvia Reitz, and Joshua Schaefer. And then as we've also mentioned tonight, some of our students are very busy tonight and off doing other things. Morgan Gallagher is with her team tonight preparing for our section playoffs in soccer tomorrow. Tarun Koda is at a piano recital. Clinton Pan is at the University of Minnesota taking a midterm exam this evening. And Lillian Spade is competing in section tennis tonight. So we also want to congratulate those students who aren't able to be here. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Congratulations. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Congratulations. Enjoy your senior year. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Make an announcement that parents can join their students and then take a picture in the hallway.
Okay. Parents, just so you know, they're taking pictures out in the hallway. We will not be insulted if you leave our meeting. I mean, if you want to come back and stay, that's fine. But they are taking pictures out in the hallway. And that's what we call 196 Pride. Congratulations to all our students for that. Just congratulations. We are so proud of you. Congratulations to the faculty, to the staff, to the parents who have helped these students achieve what they have. Congratulations, and thank you so much for coming this evening. Truly, District 196 Pride. We'll move on with the agenda this evening. The next is recognition of students and staff by the superintendent.
Okay, speaking of 196 Pride, we've got a few more points of pride to celebrate tonight. The Rosemount High School Marching Band once again showed why they are one of the best in the nation this weekend with their winning performance at the 2021 Youth and Music Championship at US Bank Stadium over the weekend. They were crowned the 4A Grand Champions and earned the title of 4A Minnesota Championship and awards for outstanding color guard, percussion, visual, and winds. Longtime director Leon Sieve was also inducted into the Youth and Music Hall of Fame, and senior Miriam Marks was a scholarship recipient. The Eastview High School Marching Band also put on an exciting performance and finished 4th in the 4A Grand Champion bracket and 5th in the Minnesota Marching Band Championships bracket. Senior Carmen Pasqualera was also a scholarship recipient, along with receiving the inaugural Frank Pasqualera Scholarship, which is named after her father and longtime Eastview band director who died last year. Congratulations to Egan High School debate and speech coach Chris McDonald on being selected part of the Minnesota State High School League Hall of Fame class of 2021-22. Chris has coached speech and debate since 1988 and has worked with numerous state and national champions over the past 3 decades. He has served in leadership roles at the state and national level for more than 20 years, and just last year was named to the National Speech and Debate Association Hall of Fame. Chris is one of 12 people, including former Minnesota Twin Joe Mauer, who will be honored at the High School League's Hall of Fame induction ceremony next April. And congratulations to the city of Rosemont on being included on Money Magazine's 2021 list of the best places to live that was published in September. Rosemont was 32 on the list of the top 50 U.S. cities with populations ranging from 25,000 to 500,000. Education is one of the key metrics used to make these selections. The city of Egan has also been on this same list in previous years. And today is Indigenous Peoples Day. Did you know that Minnesota means the land where the water reflects the clouds in Dakota? Here in District 196, we have a thriving Native American community with nearly 560 Indigenous students across the district representing over 45 different sovereign nations. A majority of our students are Ojibwe and Dakota Lakota. Learn more about the history of Minnesota, our programming in District 196, and more by visiting our website under Academics and click on American Indian Education. Later this evening, the school board will be asked to approve a resolution designating this week, October 11th to the 15th, as Food and Nutrition Services Employees Appreciation Week in District 196. There are approximately 175 full and part-time employees in our Food and Nutrition Services Department. Each year, they serve approximately 2.5 million healthy and nutritious meals at 31 locations in our district. I want to thank each of them for the important work they do to keep our students well-fed and ready to learn each day. At this time, I would like to invite Food and Nutrition Services Coordinator Spencer Fisher and any other food service employees with us this evening to stand and be recognized. I know Spencer's here. Spencer's in the back. And again, later this evening, the board will also be asked to approve a resolution designating October 18th to the 22nd as Transportation Employees Appreciation Week in District 196. We have approximately 300 transportation employees who operate the largest district-owned fleet in the state, consisting of more than 225 vehicles. In a typical year, our drivers and chaperones would travel approximately 2.9 million miles, safely transporting more than 23,000 of our students to and from school each day. This year, because of the shortage of drivers, our mechanics and transportation office staff have been serving as substitute drivers almost every day on top of their regular jobs. They are to be commended for their commitment of going above and beyond in order to get our students safely to and from school, and all of our transportation employees who have stepped up and gotten our kids to and from school and doing their absolute very best. At this time, I would like to invite Transportation Coordinator Karen Dayon and any other Transportation Department employees with us this evening to stand and be recognized. Woo.
Congratulations, and thank you all for being here this evening. Next on our agenda is the special communication request. During special communication requests, people who would like to speak must submit a form at least 5 days in advance of the meeting. 10 speakers receive up to 4 minutes each to share comments. If there are more than 10 speakers, a lottery is conducted to determine those 10 speakers. Speakers may not allot their time to others, and we use a timer for public comment, and we will be reminding speakers when they have 30 seconds remaining. We expect speakers to finish their remarks when their time expires. Speakers are also reminded not to share complaints about specific employees or to make inappropriate comments. Opinions shared during the public comment portion of the meeting do not necessarily represent the views of the school board or of the district. The audience is expected to remain calm and civil and not to disrupt speakers from being heard. Speakers, when you come to the podium, would you please state your name and your connection to the school district? We have one speaker tonight in open forum, and that's Hirsch Baines. Good evening.
Good evening. All right. Thank you. I left some charts
Yes.
for you guys.
Oh,
So you
yes,
already
board,
have
you
them?
have some information in front of you.
All right, perfect. Thank you. My name is Hirsch Baines. I'm a parent and a taxpayer in the district. I have 2 kids. One recently graduated from high school, and the other one is going to high school right now in the district. I would like to quickly talk about just the masking policy that we have. Last school board meeting, we had a speaker who laid, in my opinion, a really good case as to what else could we consider when developing masking policies. I looked at some data, and the only thing I found was COVID in the state of Minnesota. It's about 20% of all the cases in the state of Minnesota, 20% are for kids. Yet, only 0.8% is hospitalizations. 0.002%, just 3 deaths. That's a recovery rate or survival rate of 99.998%. I also looked at the flu. When you look at the flu and you average based on the data available on the MDH site, Minnesota Department of Health site, we've averaged 4 deaths, or kids, 4 deaths per year. And COVID in the last, since it started, has been 3. So we should be thanking God that basically COVID had not hit our kids as hard. So what I would recommend is, I understand there's crowded hallways in the schools, in the buses, fine. Can we come up with a middle ground, somewhere in the middle, and say, fine, when the kids are in a controlled environment in their classrooms, can they at least take their masks off for that time? Once they are done with their classes, they can wear the mask back, go in the hallways where it's crowded, go to the next class, and repeat the process. This way, I think they will learn better. Also, in the gym, my son has to do push-ups, sit-ups, and all of that in the gym wearing a mask. Why? Masks should be optional in the gym as well. So those are the only 2 things I want to say. In the classrooms, maybe we can come up with another idea. Somebody else might have a better idea. But something like that to come up in the middle ground rather than being a blanket for everyone masked all the time. Look at all the games that are going on right now. All the football games we're enjoying in the stadiums. The college football games that are going on right now. People are packed close to each other, not a mask in sight. And that's been going on for months now. So all I would request is to the board to maybe revise the mask policy and try to come up with an idea where, how about we can do masking in certain situations, and when it's a controlled environment, not have a mask on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next item on the agenda this evening is the consent agenda. Under consent, we have the minutes of the September 27th, 2001 special school board meeting. We have the minutes of the September 27th, 2021 regular school board meeting. We have gifts. We have treasurer's report for August 2021. We have summary of claims for August 2021. We have revenue and expenditures report for August 2021. We have a personnel exhibit. We have pay rates for substitute, temporary, and part-time employees. We have employee agreements. We have expulsion of a student. We have notice of locations where ballots will be counted. We have a notice of testing of optical scan voting systems. We have the Valley Middle School of STEM chiller replacement, and we have fuel purchase. Seeing that that is the end of the consent agenda, Board, is there any items of the consent agenda you would like to pull this evening? Seeing none, the wish of the Board?
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion by Joel, a second by Mike to approve the consent agenda. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. That passes on a 4-0 vote. We will move into items of report this evening. We have the official October 1st, 2021 enrollment. We'll call up Mark Stotts, and he'll go through the enrollment with us. Thank you.
Chair Magnuson, Superintendent Krieger, members of the board. This is our annual report on the October 1st enrollments for the district. If we look at the first slide, Callie, is this something I have to advance? You can see on October 1st, our total enrollments in all schools was 29,086 students. That's an increase of 78 students over last year, and that's equal to about a 0.27% increase in enrollments year over year. One thing I should mention, the reason October 1st enrollments are so important is it is only a point in time, but it gives us a good gauge as to what we think we're going to see in enrollments throughout the course of the year. It's also important for certain funding sources, particularly compensatory funding, that goes directly to the schools and is based on free and reduced lunch counts as a percentage of our overall student enrollments. But as you know, the major portion of our funding, the general education portion, is based on what's referred to as ADMs, or average daily memberships. So if a student is in the district for half the year, we only get a 0.5 ADM for that student. So while October 1st enrollments are important, they're certainly not the end-all be-all, because we keep track of student enrollments throughout the year. Whoops, how do I back this up, Callie? I'm struggling here. There we go. I got it. Faked you out, didn't I? Okay, so if we look at just K-12 enrollments, we're at 27,555 students on October 1st. That's an increase of 89 students over the previous year, and that's about a 0.32% increase. And the difference being, this does not include certain programs that we have that are not traditional K-12 programs, like center-based programs, adult basic education, Transition Plus, those types of programs. Okay, so here if we look at it from elementary to secondary levels and then center-based and early childhood, you can see our elementary schools are up 47 students over last year, spread amongst our 19 elementary schools. Middle school, grades 6 through 8, we're actually down 130 students. And then at the high school level, grades 9 through 12, we're up 172 students. Center-based special education is up 15 students over last year, and early childhood special education is down 26 students. So that's how we arrive at the 78 student increase year over year. One thing I should mention about grades K through 5, you know, we only saw a 47 student increase at the elementary schools, but we have two schools in particular that have showed the most growth, and that would be Rosemount Elementary and Eastlake Elementary. And so while some schools, particularly those two, have shown increases in enrollments, others have actually went down a little bit, which is not all bad, because that allows us to run other programs in our elementary schools that we wouldn't necessarily have room for otherwise, such as pre-K programs and so forth. All right, Callie.
Don't you hate it when it's not your computer and it's just like a different place?
Here we go.
There you go.
Here we go. See, all you got to do is get up out of your chair and the screen will flip. If we look at the demographics within the district, we do see about 58%, 59% white students in the district, about 14% black students, about 11% Hispanic, 8% Asian, and then we have some, 2 or more races at about 7.6%, and American Indian at 0.4%, and Pacific Islander at 0.09%. We are becoming more diverse as a district. And this is just a graphical representation of what I just mentioned. And you will see from 2011 to 2021, the amount of diversity within the district has increased quite substantially. If we look at English language learners, where English is not their first language, at the elementary level, we're at about 12%, middle school level about 4.8%, and high school also around 4.8%. The district total is about 7.62%, and that's compared to the state total of 8.4%. So we're actually below the state level, but not by a whole lot. We pretty much represent what we see going on in the state of Minnesota with English learners. And again, you can see over the past 10 years, our numbers have increased from about 1,364 in 2011 to 2,220 in 2021. So that's a very quick snapshot of what we're looking at as of October 1st during the year, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Perfect. With that, I'll ask if there are any questions from the audience that specifically are, again, with our enrollment. We'll ask you to come to the podium, state your name and your question, and we'll get an answer for you.
Good evening, my name is Jake Rylander. I'm a parent in the district and a candidate. I was just curious if we were tracking how many families possibly left the district over the last year, and if we could know what that number is, either tonight or in another night, that'd be fine. I'd be curious to know if we lost families, even though we had an increase, how many families we should have expected due to the current climate of things. Thank you.
So I can give you some very rough numbers, and I'm not saying I'm going to be 100% accurate here, but I'll be in the ballpark. So based on what we were projecting in previous years, obviously we've had, many of you have heard her name before, Hazel Reinhardt, who is a demographer and has worked with the district over a number of years. We are actually, at elementary, we're down, approximately 300 to 400 students over what had been projected for the current year. At the middle school level, we're about right on track, and at the high school, we're actually right on track. And if you look at the high school, that's where we're seeing the largest amount of growth. Over 2 years ago, if you look at 2019-20 being our last normal year, we're up about 500 students at the high school level. So we're right on track, middle school and high school, as far as the projections go, but we are down at the elementary level a little bit. But again, the challenge is looking at individual schools to examine, you know, is the school losing enrollment? Are they growing? We have, particularly on the east side of the district, we see a little more growth at the elementary schools. And then in some schools, it's going down a little bit. So that's definitely, it presents a challenge in terms of what do we do in the future and how do we make space available for students.
But you're saying some of those moving out are just people that could be moving?
We don't really know. Families aren't required to give us a reason. I'm sure during the pandemic, you know, a lot of people opted for, let's say, parochial schools or private schools because they were in person throughout the year. Maybe they elected to stay at those schools. We do know that our tax base is growing and our housing stock is growing, so that would indicate that we'd have more families within the district. So I don't think it's a case where we have families mass exodusing the district.
It seems to me like it's pretty normal numbers.
Yep.
That stayed throughout the years.
It is, and you know, keep in mind we do have 196 online. So those are students that are included in our counts but aren't necessarily physically present within our buildings. But our schools have been tight up to this point, and we've got a facilities committee that's studying that issue and maybe what we're seeing 5 and 10 years down the road. We do still project growth within the district. I think, if things return to quote unquote normal, we're probably going to see a lot of these students, particularly at the elementary schools, come back.
Was there any other question? We'll have you come up and state your name, and then we'll get you an answer.
Yes, my name is Larry Jacobson, and as Jacob asked the question, I thought, well, maybe I don't need to ask it. It was kind of along the same lines, but I guess I'm a slow learner and didn't quite get the answer that I was looking for. And I think probably you don't have the statistics, but like I've mentioned to the board before, my concern, it seems to me that are more people looking at leaving the district lately, and not just because of COVID, but because of some things that are taught and emphasized to the neglect of others. But anyway, like for example, Brad Taylor, I believe his name was, spoke before the board, and I reached out to the board members wondering if they interacted with him. I did get a response from Craig Ingramson.
Do you have a specific question so we can get that answered?
The question is, are you looking at individuals in line with equity? Are we doing something in this district things that we could be doing differently?
Right, and we want to keep the question specifically on our October 1st enrollment
so the
numbers.
question is, can you get some statistics on how many kids, and talk with the kids? You're not required, but can you talk, hey, could we do things here better to make this a more inviting atmosphere for you? That's my question. Thank you.
I don't know that I can answer that question directly. I do know at the schools they're always talking with parents and students and finding, what are the options that are available that students and parents want to serve the community. But do we have that specific information? I don't have access to that. Somebody else within the district may, but I do not. So I really think, too, if you look at it from a statewide perspective and even a nationwide perspective, our enrollments are up. A lot of districts are still down compared to what it was 2 years ago in terms of enrollments. And so I think, with the reputation that this district has built over the years and the fact that families that have indicated it's a place they want to be for their students' educations, I think we're in a really good position. And, COVID disrupted everything. I mean, it's unprecedented in our lifetimes. And I think, more will be known as we move down this journey, maybe a year or two down the road. So,
Exactly. Were there any other questions? Yes, you can come up to the podium. We're going to ask you to keep your questions specifically about the October 1st enrollment numbers.
Can you need my name?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Megan Ray. I'm a previous student of the district, currently in college. I was just wondering if there's a place to actually see the data that you had posted on the slideshow, because it was kind of hard to see, and I would like to be able to see that data more clearly and interpret it.
Yeah, it's all on.
yes, all that information is posted online under our board meetings,
Yes.
correct, Emily? So that information is readily available. Yep.
Is there any other questions? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion and we'll ask board members for questions and comments. Board members? As Mike said, it's pretty standard. We sometimes have more of a climb. 78 students is not a decrease. It's a steady growth. And if you are on the other side, on the east side of our district, in Rosemont, you're wondering why we haven't started building a new school on the property that we bought out there. Because I
Right.
hear it all the time. You know, look at all the people out here and we need a new school. And you've identified that Rosemont Elementary is overcrowded. So we keep growing and we keep on finding places for those students, and there we go. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
We have no old businesses this evening, no new business. We have other action items. We have the Food and Nutrition Services Employees Appreciation Week, October 11th through the 15th, 2021, and we'll turn it over to Superintendent Krieger.
Thank you. In conjunction with National School Lunch Week, I ask your approval of the resolution declaring District 196 Food and Nutrition Services Employees Appreciation Week, October 11th through October 15th, 2021.
We have a motion by Craig, a second by Joel to move approval of the Food and Nutrition Services Employees Appreciation Week, October 11th through the 15th of 2021. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That passes on a 4-0 vote. We thank all of the people that work so hard to feed 2.5 million meals a year. And if you thought making supper for your kid at home was tough, 2.5 million meals is a lot of food. So thank you all to them. And I know the supply chain has been crazy. Trying to feed kids in a pandemic has been crazy, and we thank them for their hard work. Next up is the Transportation Employee Appreciation Week, October 18th through the 22nd of 2021. We'll turn it back over to Superintendent Krieger.
Okay, in conjunction with the National School Bus Safety Week, I ask your approval of the resolution declaring District 196 Transportation Employees Appreciation Week, October 18th through October 22nd, 2021.
With that, I'll ask for a motion.
So, second?
We have a motion by Joel and a second by Mike to approve the Transportation Employees Appreciation Week, October 18th through the 22nd of 2021. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes on a 4-0 vote, and we cannot thank our transportation employees enough, 300 employees. If you would like to be a transportation employee, we have a job for you. But we thank them all for getting our students safely to school and home from school every day. So thank you very much. Next, we're towards the end of our agenda. We've got board members and superintendent update. Board members with updates. Seeing none, I just want to say, if you haven't been to a high school and seen a football game, seen a soccer game, seen a play, get online and find out what is going on at our area high schools. They are jam-packed. You can go just about any night and go to a field and see somebody doing something amazing. With that, have a good fall, and we'll turn it over to Superintendent Krieger.
Okay. Last week, our district sent letters to approximately 2,300 families with children enrolled in our district who live in parts of the Rosemont High School attendance area that are being proposed for changes. The letter and accompanying maps explained the recommended changes to high school and middle school attendance areas and invited them to attend one of 3 informational meetings that will be held on October 18th and 19th. If approved as currently proposed, all families living in the city of Rosemont would continue to be in the Rosemont High School attendance area. We also recognize the strong connections between families and their school communities, so the changes would be phased in to allow students the choice of whether to change schools or finish out at the school they are currently attending with transportation provided. After conducting the informational meetings and reviewing the input provided in our online form, the administration will develop final recommendations to present as new business at the November 8th school board meeting and for action at the regular board meeting on December 13th. Information and maps explaining the background, process, and recommendations are available on the district website at www.district196.org. And lastly, as we enter the time of year when many businesses and organizations conduct their annual giving campaigns, I would like to let people know about the District 196 Foundation. Each year, funding from the District 196 Foundation provides direct support to hundreds of our students. Funding from the foundation provides weekend food bags, summer reading books, and instruments for students who would otherwise not have been able to participate in band. If you would like to learn more about the District 196 Foundation or make a donation to support their efforts, go to their website at www.district196foundation.org. And thank you to the foundation board members for the work you do and to those who generously support their efforts.
Amen. We've come to the end of our agenda this evening, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
A motion by Joel, a second by Mike to adjourn. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good night. Our next regularly scheduled board meeting will be November 8th. We will see you then. Good evening.